Okay, so by the grace of God, we are here and let's begin today's class. I hope you have a diary or a book and a pen over there. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, fine. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, once again, in brief, last time I scrutinized the whole syllabus for you, right? So, just in brief, like I said last time, we have paper 1 and paper 2. We are preparing precisely for the CDP paper and also being trained in English. Today I shall cover a majority chunk of the CDP paper, and I'll also try to explain to you some characteristics of the English language. Okay, first we'll get done with this and then I'll proceed to that. So yeah, you have your CDP, your English compulsory, your second language, which is Konkani. Then for Nikat, you will have maths and EVS. All of your subjects are compulsory. Ria, you will opt for social science. Okay. Now, to begin with, this is your first subtopic of the CDP portion, which is child development and pedagogy, having 30 MCQs for 30 marks. Okay. So in this, we have meaning of growth and development. Okay. Now, when we are talking of meaning of growth and development, this means that we will look at it conceptually. So, what is the concept? That is what we will understand by this. So, everything from the conceptual perspective will be understood over here. Okay. Now, if I ask you, what do you understand when you read the words growth and development?
It
Growth
is
refers to,
basically like a child grows through different stages.
yes, and
Uh,
growth refers predominantly to the physical part or the biological changes in a person. All
yes.
right. Whereas development is more to do with behavioral changes or maturation. Right? Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
Okay, so growth is more to do with the biological changes in a person, and development is more to do with the behavioral changes in a person. Okay, after that, what we will study is stages of growth and development. So, what would be the stages? We will have,
The childhood stage, adolescence.
yes, it's right there. See, we will have infancy, we will have early childhood, late childhood, okay, adolescence, adulthood. Now, because of the fact that y'all are school teachers, y'all are more interested in which stage? You have to know all the stages, but which stages are we most interested in? What
So
age does the child go to school? Right from?
three.
Right from 3? No. You have to be 5 years completed now to go to school. So we will be more interested in the later childhood. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years, that time. Okay. That stage of development. Fine. Then in this, we also have to know the developmental task at each of those stages. I repeat, developmental tasks of each of those stages. So each stage that is there, for example, infancy. During that time, what are the things that happen? Okay. Then we have, let's say, early childhood. During that time, what are the prominent things that happen this way? This you will have to know. Okay. Then we will have areas of development, that is physical, motor, emotional,
Social.
social, cognitive, and language, and moral development. So the theories that you will learn will kind of cover all of this that we are interested to learn. Okay, then we also need to know about the differences between growth and development and maturation, how they are different from each other, like how I was just telling you. Then we need to know interaction of maturation and development for learning. Okay, and then we have to know role of the teacher and educational implication. Now mind you, all and any theory that we learn, we will always have to understand the teacher's role or the classroom implication of that particular theory. Understand? Otherwise, it is no point. I told last time also. What is this that we are learning? CDP is more of educational psychology. Okay, it's an applied branch of psychology. So it's not pure sciences. So everything that we are learning is learned from the classroom perspective. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. Now let us try to understand principles of growth and development of children up to 11 years of age. Okay. Now the first thing that we have to know is principle of developmental direction. Now, direction means what? Direction generally means what? Something that tells you to go from where to where. That is what direction means. Okay? Understand? One second. Is someone trying to join? Yes. Okay. Are you able to see the screen? Can you see the screen still? Can you hear me? Veloshka, Nikat, can you hear me? Can you see the screen?
Yes, miss.
Okay, okay. So when we talk about direction, we are firstly talking about developmental direction. Okay. So here we have the two main types of directions that we will know. We have to know. That is the cephalocaudal and the proximodistal. Okay. Can you just write it down in your points? Just make a point over there. We have cephalocaudal and proximodistal principle of direction. Do you want the spellings? CEPHALOCAUDAL. This is cephalocaudal principle of direction. And we have proximodistal, which is PROXIMODISTAL. Proximodistal. Okay. So, cephalocaudal means development from the head downward. So, up to down, that is cephalocaudal. And we have proximodistal, which is development from center to sidewards. So you know, no, there is 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. So what we see around is a three-dimensional world. We have three dimensions. So one is top to down, second is center to outward. Okay. Any questions?
Ma'am, for proximodistal, it is from center to side parts.
No, proximodistal center is not, you can't really say center to side parts. You see, we are more of spherical in nature.
Okay.
Understand? We are not flat, no? Are we like
Yes.
earthworm? No, we are not. So we have fullness of being. So it's like center to all our outward parts.
Okay.
That is what it is. If you all have any questions, kindly ask. Huh? Veroshka, Nikat and all. Okay. Then the other principle that we have is that of continuity. Continuity. See, I know that things are on the slide, and of course I will share also everything with you. I'll merge everything, all the matter, and send it to you. But if you want, and I think you should kind of make your own points also while I'm explaining, because sometimes what happens, you understand best what you write in your own handwriting and with your own examples. Okay, so we also have continuity. Now, this is that principle of development which says that development is continuous, okay, and gradual. So that there is continuous and gradual development that occurs. Okay. There is another part also to the continuity factor, that is a discontinuity factor. Now, discontinuity means what? Not that development discontinues or stops. It means that it goes in phases. So at this particular time, this much development is happening. At this much time, this much development is happening. That is discontinuity aspect. But continuity in development is what? That continuous development is taking place. That is what it means. Okay, so right from, let's say, preschool, the child has started to learn up until old age, you can say that the person can keep on learning and that he will go on learning something new or the other. Understand? Then the next one is rate of growth and development is not uniform. So some people may learn some things faster, while some people may take some more time to learn, a little longer to learn the same concepts. Okay. Then the next one is uniformity in pattern. Uniformity in pattern means what? Everyone has the same pattern of development. Like, let us take the example of conception. When a child or a fetus is conceived in the womb, let's say. So there are phases, no, to that, right or wrong? So right from, the seed up until the full formation of the zygote to fetus, it's the same steps that it will follow. So uniformity means what? There is proper regularity, or it is unwavering, it's homogeneous. That is what it means. Okay. So in each and every individual, the development process that takes place in each person kind of follows the same pattern. That is what it means. Then the next one is development proceeds from general to specific. General means what? Overall, and specific means the minute details. That is what is specific. So we have our hands, right? We have our hands which we use. So let's try to understand general to specific. So when children are small, how they hold things are like this. Okay, they don't really know how to use their fingers. So what they would do, anything is just grabbed upon. So if there's something that they get like this, just these are general movements. But specifics is when the finger dexterity improves, the children know how to pinch things. So as gradually, let's say the child knows how to do this and all. Okay, so this is specific. So general movements to specific movements. Initially, when they are trying to learn to walk, also what they'll just start crawling and pushing their bodies. Okay. Then specific will come when they know how to use the feet and the toes and all of that. That is specific growth. Okay. Then we have, where did I go? Okay. Then we have principle of integration. Integration, as we understand, is coming together. Okay. So principle of integration means that things that are learned, they all integrate together. So there are various aspects, no, like physical, mental, emotional, social, moral. So the individual that we are observing or trying to understand and the person's behavior who we are trying to learn, let us say it is some particular student, you can't really try to understand one aspect by minusing the rest out. Integration means it's like coordination of various parts which come together. Do you get what I'm trying to tell you? Okay. So one is not devoid of the other. They are all independent or dependent of each other. Okay. Then we have principle of interrelation. This means that development in one area can impact the development of another area. But then you will be like, but you just said that they all come together and so what? No, they all come together and give totality to a person. But if let's say one is hampered, then it will kind of, hamper the other. For example, simple example, let us say someone has a physical disability. Okay. Let's say there is a child with a handicap. Now, there is a possibility that a handicapped child also can be exceptionally good in studies, provided given the right resources and, opportunities and everything, undoubtedly. But there is also a great possibility that this child, because of physical handicap, is also suffering in studies. Why? Why and how? Can you explain? Can you explain how? Why would that happen? See, because the child is handicapped, maybe he cannot go to class every time, right? Maybe because of the handicap, he's going through emotional turmoil. Maybe he has, some inferiority complex. Maybe he's not accepted properly in the classroom or even back home. So all this can also affect studies, right? So sometimes one area of, challenge can also challenge another area of development. Are you understanding so far? Are you there? Are you able to hear me? Yeah. Then we have predictability. Predictability means you know that there are some things that you can predict. Like let's say you see that the child has, you know that what do you say? There are stages, no, to a child walking. Okay, so you know that now that he has been able to, let's say, move around fast on its knees, like on its fours, I mean, the knees and the hands on fours, and he's moving fast and he's trying to also stand up and move around with support. So don't you know that now next he will be able to move without support? You know that, no? That is principle of predictability. Okay, so when you see patterns of behavior uniform, integrated, interrelated, and they all come together, you are able to predict the next move. That is what it means. Then development is spiral and not linear. What do you think this would mean? Hmm? So development is spiral means what? No child develops only in one area at one time. Means only emotional development is happening. Physical, mental, all that is not happening. Then the next one. It's not like that. Spiral means what? When development occurs, it occurs in all arenas at the same time. That is what it means. Then development and growth is a joint product of both heredity and environment. This is a classic one. I'm sure you really know about this. The nature nurture principle. You must have heard about it so many times. Okay. Then we have causes of individual differences, which is heredity and environment. Again, the nature nurture concept. So always there has been questions asked about which one is more, impactful. This is what is always asked. But as you know, and as theories also go by, you can never know which one is more impactful. One always impacts the other. They are both interrelated, and they are both constantly affecting any person at one time. The nature versus the nurture. So nature means genetics and nurture means the surrounding, the kind of parenting, all that which a person undergoes. So, this is what leads to individual differences also in a person. So, there are things that we inherit from parents, like the physical, the mental, the temperamental aspects. Physical means the way we look, our complexion, the color of our eyes, our height, our weight, sometimes even, uh, the sicknesses, allergies or stuff like that that we can be prone to. All this would come under physical. Mental would be more of, the mental or the cognitive abilities of a person. And temperamental means mood swings, emotions, the way a person processes their fear, their grief, anger, all that would be temperamental side. And then we have acquired. Acquired means everything that our surroundings give us, like the culture, the social opportunities, that we have to go through all of this. Okay, are you following so far? Are you with me? Are you paying attention? Okay, yes, cool. So let's proceed. One second. Okay, so another very important point that I want to bring to your notice now is that, sometimes a person can be totally different when they are, let's say, brought up in a community with lots of resources and opportunities. And obviously, that same person can be totally different in when brought up in a different community. Like, for example, let's say if I have to share with you twin studies. Okay, let's say there are twins. Now they are, we would presume that they would have the same inherited aspects, right? And twin studies are mostly conducted on identical twins, sometimes even fraternal twins. Okay, so what happens? Twin studies, no, they help us to understand the genetic influences of traits, and they even help us to understand disorders and all. So understand that, let's say there is a pair of twins, okay, and let's say one twin is sent to a very remote place of Africa to live for 5 years, and another twin is sent to a very progressed community, like let's say Japan. Okay, no, the Japanese actually now are considered to be way ahead of everyone's time, right? That in terms of their technology, way of life, and all. Don't you think after the end of 5 years, they are going to come back with totally different experiences? You think they would be the same people that they were before they went to those two places? No, right? They'll be different. Okay, Ria says that she has a fraternal twin. Okay. Okay, so Ria, would you share what are the differences between you two? Maybe you could share two differences and two similarities between you two.
So, ma'am, the differences are like related to the studies in college. Teacher would always give our examples because they have observed us. So the differences between us is she's a introvert, like,
Okay.
uh, and I'm on more of a extrovert side. These are the two differences, and she's more on a calm side. Like I'm more talkative, and
Huh.
I like to, I'm more social than her. And another similarities is the similarities between us is both of our interest when it comes to something we want to acquire. Like for example, if you want to join the teaching field, is the same.
Huh.
Maybe that is because of our genes, because my mother is a teacher genetically, and
Okay.
everybody else in my family mostly are teachers, so we come from the background of teachers. And another thing is our hobbies, like both of us love dancing, so that is,
Huh.
yeah, both of us love dancing, so that is one same. But we are like opposites to each other. Like she, even her dressing sense is different than mine. Even like how I perceive things are different than how she perceives things.
Okay, okay.
So
So it's like temperamentally all are different.
yes, temperaments is
Uh,
very different, but
yeah,
interest,
temperamentally different.
somewhere interests are similar.
Okay, hobbies wise, interest wise, and with regards to goal fulfillment and achievement, you are
Yeah,
same.
yeah, but personalities are like two
Personality is
different.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. So it's like say you all have come of the same parents, you all have lived in almost the same environment, and yet you are different from
Yes,
each
and
other.
ma'am, that has to also play a role because of like when we are together from nursery till up to our graduation. We were in the
Okay.
same class with the same set of friends, with the
Huh.
same people. Like we could, it was basically like we made the same friends because we always wanted to be together,
Together.
and we had
Okay.
that fear of separation. So when we were
Ah.
separated in different classes, we made our parents make sure that the teacher puts us in the same class as twins.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, so we had that separation anxiety, like what if she gets, like I get separate from her and also. But then after graduation, eventually we got separated. Now we have different set of friends.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nice, nice. Thank you for your input, Ria. It's nice
Yeah.
to, get to know stuff like this. Because obviously sometimes we know, but we still don't know enough, right? And
Yes.
this is like live examples of how actually twins can be similar, and yet different.
When we were small, it was like similar. Everybody thought we were similar when we was, because we looked same, but we were fraternal twins when
But
you
yet
grow
you
up.
all have a lot of resemblance, I
Yeah,
believe.
we have lot of resemblance. So when
Okay.
we were small, everybody used to think like we were similar, but then it was like basic, even our intelligence level, because I remember teacher putting up this point when we were studying this nature versus nurture. So
Huh.
basically it is not a wide difference between our intelligence. If for example, if I would score 676 point something, so her percentage would have been in 74, like that. So it's like our
Okay.
intelligence is on the same areas. Even our subjects choices, whatever we like, is on the same areas. So
Wow.
yeah, intelligence is almost all the same. It's not like even in our percentage over the years, if you see.
It's the same. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
it's the
so
same.
we could conclude that your IQ is the same, almost the
Same,
same.
yes, IQ is the
Okay.
same.
But experiences, what happens? See, experiences of life cannot be 10 on 10 same.
No, no, no.
That's why that little difference I think is
Difference,
come.
because ma'am, I am somebody who would take opportunities. Okay, okay, there
Okay.
is, I would go on stage, do that. She would rely on me somewhat. She'd be like,
Okay.
okay, you will get it, then she will take me in the dance, something like that, when there were group
Ah,
dances.
huh,
So
huh. Understand.
she thought she would get overshadowed, so she never got the opportunity to take it. Like people would not come to her first, approach her.
Okay, okay, okay.
So, but now
Understand.
when she's in a different college, that time like people are only approaching her. So now she realized that okay, she was also talented enough. Only thing she didn't know
Ah,
how to convey,
how
how
to
to
convey,
form
and
that
she
bond.
didn't know how to be expressive, maybe,
Expressive, yes,
which she has learned now over
yes.
time. Nice. I would like to meet your sister someday. Maybe like this only, if we can, you
Ma'am,
know.
I forgot to tell you one thing.
Huh.
I should tell you. I think you my mother has taught you in primary. I don't know if you remember her.
What is your mother's name?
Her name is Rizwana.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah.
Rizwana teacher. Okay,
So
okay,
she was
okay.
telling me yesterday. So then she's like, "Look, life comes in full circle."
Yeah, very interesting. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. In fact, your mom was very fond of me,
Yeah, she
and
was
I
telling me, yeah.
and I remember she pulling my cheeks, and totally I was like that doll to her. Like, every time I would come, I was, how we play with dolls, no? Like we pinch them and we press them, and
Yeah.
because we find them very cuddly, I mean to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
all for the right reasons. But yeah, I really very peculiarly remember your mother. Please convey my regards to her.
Yes.
Anyways, let's go ahead with this. Okay, so we have now the most important, let's say, in this chapter, topic of discussion, which is social and emotional development. Now, see, lots of people fail to understand that social and emotional development is extremely related. Okay, because like I said some time back, our experiences also contribute largely to our emotions. Okay, and being out there, uh, you know, having social experiences will have a person have a different side of emotional development than for a person who's very contained and is not out there and is very reserved, is very, that would lead to a lot of pessimism in a person. That's why we say, no, we humans are actually social beings. So we want to be with other people, we want to interact with people, and that is how we are programmed to be. We can't really be all to ourselves. Even an introvert does like some social experiences. It's not like they are completely, bizarre and don't want to go out and be with anyone. That is another side of the spectrum, and that is more like clinical depression. So that's different, okay? But normally, that is not how it is. So we have our development of social behavior at different stages of development. So understanding that statement again, we have our infancy, childhood, stages of childhood and adolescence and adulthood. So any human being has a different set of social behavior at these different stages of development. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Then we also have factors affecting social development and agents of socialization. So, what are the factors that would affect a child's social development? Can you remember any? Like firstly, it is the child's social skills itself. Okay. Then it is the home atmosphere of a child. Is there stress in the house? Is there conflict between parents? Are needs met? Is there space for the child to live and be and play and sit around? Or is there too much congestion in the house? All these kind of factors, even media, the kind of neighbors that are there, if the safety of the child is taken utmost care of. So all these are actually factors that affect social development of a child. Okay. Talking about agents of socialization, the most primary of the agents of socialization are of course family. Okay, then we could talk about daycare, schools, peers, media, the religious groups that a child is a part of, political influence, the kind of jobs that the parents have, social activities that the child participates in. All these are agents of socialization. Okay, then we also have to know about emotional development during different stages of development. So, at each of those stages, what are the kind of emotions that are released in children up until they are adolescents and adults, and the different factors that once again influence the emotional development of a child. Then we also have universal emotions. Okay, universal emotions are, which are they? You remember? Happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, surprise, and anger. Okay, these are 6 universal emotions that anyone has. So any person anywhere in the world of any ethnicity, race, caste, class, creed will have these emotions: happiness, sadness, dis- disgust, fear, surprise, and anger. Okay, you can just make a note over there in your notes. All right. Okay. Then we have our very famous Piaget's stages of cognitive development. Okay. I have a full length video made of Piaget stages. I will share the video with you, or you can just go to my YouTube channel and see that whole video. You have to see that video up until the exam comes at least 5 times. Okay, because what happens is we of course tend to forget. That's why it's a very interesting theory which we need to know and learn, but uh, I would say that revision is everything. So if you may read it and you may understand it the first time and you feel like it is nothing, it's easy to understand. Yes, it is easy to understand, But there are terms in the theory which you need to particularly know about, the terminology that I'm telling you. Okay, so Piaget's stages of cognitive development are, having lots of importance from the educational perspective. The first concept that we have to know about is schema. Okay, so schema is any thing but how people really process that information that they know of. That is what is schema. So how, let's say a child hears something, or the child sees something, so that you know that scheme of thoughts, that train of thoughts is stored, that understanding of concept, that is called schema. Okay, so a schema is nothing but a pattern of learning, or a way of linking two three different things, a person's perceptions, ideas, conceptually how does a person make sense of the world. That is what is schema. Okay, so first key concept of Piaget's theory is schema. So singular is scheme, plural is schema. Understand? So in simple words, how does a person make sense of the world? That is schema. Then Piaget says that a person adapts to its environment. And how a person adapts to its environment is by using assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. That is how a person adapts to his environment. Okay, is there a message here? No. Okay, so before you actually understand the words from the perspective of the theory, first just understand them as words. Assimilation, accommodation. Assimilation means what? Adding. It's like adding. And accommodating means what? It's like adjusting. Okay. Now understand them in terms of the theory. Assimilation means what? Putting new ideas or concepts in your understanding and practice while aligning with the old ideas. Do you understand? So it's like you have old information, you add on the new information to it. And while you are adding that new information, you will try to make sense of the old and the new information put together. So you have existing knowledge to which you add more knowledge, and then you make sense of that. Okay, this is assimilation. Accommodation is you have existing knowledge, you have new knowledge, you've added the new to the old knowledge, you try to make sense of all of that, but then in the bargain you've made little changes to your existing knowledge. That is accommodation. Do you get it? Okay, I have this very classic example of the apple. So initially when children are taught A for apple, they're always shown a red color apple. But with passing time, they understand that A for apple is also the apple that we eat, which is mostly red in color. And there's also another color of apple, which is green apple. Okay. And they sometimes also see all shades of reds of that apple, or sometimes there are some yellowish tints of apples as well. So a basic schema of the apple gets assimilated and accommodated all the time. They will also with passing time understand that apples can also be rotten and spoiled, and that not all apples are juicy or sweet. They may also understand bizarre things about apples, like some apples are waxed and they are not very healthy, which are sold in the market. They may know so many things about their basic schema, that the best of apples maybe are from Kashmir, and all these things, how they could be imported and exported depending on how much information their environment has to offer them. Understand? So a basic schema gets assimilated and accommodated all the time. Now, there is a state of equilibration and non-equilibration. If you're a science student, you will understand that there is homeostasis and lack of homeostasis. So, equilibration is a state where when you have questions, your questions are answered. So, when you have questions and lack of knowledge and doubts, that is lack of equilibration. And when you gain the understanding and the knowledge, that is the time you have gained the equilibration. Understand? That is what it is. Now, a little background about Piaget. Piaget was a genetic epistemologist and constructivist. Okay, he called children little scientists. He called children little scientists because, according to him, children have all sorts of questions because all thanks to their great curiosity. And he said that we can learn from children. That's why he referred to children as little scientists. So he said, if you want to understand anything, you first become like a child and try to understand that concept. It will be way more easier, he said. Okay. I also want you to know that actually Piaget was a biologist in nature. Okay. So from biologist, he was more into studying genetics. It is also said that he had many siblings. So from that, he had seen children of various ages. You know, he grew up with people of different age groups, and that's how he was very much interested in this. Okay. So, and he also said that children think as much as adults. In other words, it is said that we as adults have 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. So according to Piaget, even children have 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. It is just that what they think of is different from us. So let's say we as adults would think that of, okay, I woke up today, what will I do today? Should I go shopping? How much money do I have? And how much money should I, invest in something? What kind of returns will I get? These are the kind of thoughts that we would have, right? What to cook, what to eat, what to wear, where to go, which doctor is good, which, you know, makeup is good. We have all these kind of thoughts, right? Or maybe we have some other thoughts that worry us sometimes, like let's say somebody's parent is not well, or stuff like this. But children also will have as many as thoughts as those in terms of quantity, but the quality of the thoughts would be different. So children would think, okay, so today I went to school, I came home, will my father shout at me? I lost my pencil, someone robbed my rubber, and do I have tuitions, and do I have to study, and what should I eat? Is there a chocolate on the desk? Should I rob that chocolate from the fridge? Should I share it with my brother? So they have different quality of thoughts, but the quantity of thoughts is almost the same. That is what he meant to say. All right. Then he also meant to say that cognitive development is based on maturation, activity, social interaction, and equilibration. So this is again to do with those key concepts that we were just studying some time back. Okay. So though he is a cognitivist, cognitive development means what? Thinking abilities. Though his emphasis is on cognition, but he did not completely rule out the other things like social interaction and equilibration. Okay. He did not follow the all or none principle. That is what I'm trying to tell you. He did give regard to social experiences to some extent. Now, coming to the stages of development according to the theory. Firstly, we have the sensory motor intelligence from birth to age of 2. Okay. So, in this stage, by the way, all of these stages are also deeply explained in my video. But of course, I'm going to explain it to you now also, but you will get lots of details, of these in the video. Okay, once you watch it. So we have at this stage of sensory motor intelligence, object permanence. Okay. First of all, sensory motor. Sensory means senses, motor means movement. Okay. So, as you know, children mostly get all of their needs met during this stage by using the senses of their body. So, laughing, cooing, crying, pointing out, that is all that they do. Okay. Object permanence is the understanding that whether an object can be sensed has no effect on whether it continues to exist. Simple example. when children are very small, they think that out of sight is out of mind. In other words, if there is an object which they cannot see, it means that they think that that object does not exist. But once they achieve object permanence, they come to understand that even though if I cannot see it with my eyes, it does not mean that it is completely vanished from the face of the earth. It means that I cannot see it, but it is there. Maybe it is in hiding. That is object permanence. Okay. Then we have pre-operational thinking from ages 2 to 7. During this age, there are some key concepts to understand. First is egocentrism. Egocentrism means I, me. So, it is like the inability to differentiate between self and other. So, the whole world kind of revolves around them. That is egocentrism. So, that's why I would say, my papa is the best, my mama is the most beautiful, my toy is the best. So, the child is only concerned with the final outcome of an event rather than another's intention. So, what they want is what they get. Like that it is. They will not care. Okay, let's say parent has worked whole day and is tired. They'll say, no, play with me, play with me, play with me. And until you don't play with them, they are not at peace. That is why they say, no, okay, this my child is getting very naughty and not listening to me. That is because of that egocentrism. Okay. Any questions so far? Are you following? Any questions? If you have questions, please ask. Huh? Then the next one we have is transductive reasoning. So transductive reasoning is kind of reasoning with error. Okay, it's like, have you heard this word flawed logic? Okay, it's like flawed logic. So it's like, let's say now these days it's very hot, right? It's sunny, sun is bright out there shining. So transductive, according to transductive logic of a child, it would be it's very sunny because the sun is blowing hot air on all of us. Does that really happen scientifically? No, right? Geographic reasons are totally different. So that would explain that the sun is the hottest, it's a hot star and it has its sunlight and sun rays falling on these kind of geographical reasons. But children, transductive reasoning or flawed logic would be something like it's very windy because there is a man sitting up in the sky and he is fanning us. Okay, something like this. So that is flawed logic. Or the clouds are white because someone painted them with white color, with white paint. Okay, so it's like when a child fails to understand the true relationships between cause and effect. So when a child fails to understand real logic or the real scientific reasons behind it, it's flawed logic, which is transductive reasoning. Okay. Another thing is that there is something called as irreversibility. So irreversibility means, um, there are some things which can be reversed and there are some things that cannot be reversed. Right? For example, you take the example of water. Water can be changed from solid to liquid to gaseous to back to liquid form, right or wrong? Okay. But is it possible with anything and everything? Is it possible with everything? No. Yeah, it's not possible with everything. But do children understand that? Do they understand that? They don't really understand that. Okay. So if something is broken, they may say, No, you just put it back and give it to me. And that's why they themselves break their toys, no? They don't understand that it's broken and it's gone. So it is irreversibility is like the child's difficulty to reverse sequences in their head. They don't get it. So they wouldn't understand that if they throw some milk on the ground, it's wasted. They may think that it can be put back. Okay. And there is another side to it also. Like let's say you have dough, no? You have kneaded dough. Okay, you take some flour and you knead it. So they may flatten it out, and if they may not know that it can again be brought back to the shape of a ball, that also they will not understand. So that concept of irreversibility is not there really initially. Okay, but then as time passes by, it is learned. That happens from 2 to 7 years. Then we have animism. Anima means what? Anima comes from the Latin language, to have life, spirit. So animism means what? Putting life and spirit in non-living things. Like the chair is my friend, and the chair can talk, and the umbrella can sing a song. That is animism. That they do, no? Okay. That happens during the pre-operational thinking stages. That is from 2 to 7 years. Then we have the concrete operational stage from 7 to 11 years, during which we understand conservation, classification, and seriation. Okay. Now, usually conservation we understand from the relationship between humans and nature, right? But here conservation means something a little different. So here conservation means that even if something is cut or spread out, shrunk, poured, stretched, squeezed, it doesn't change. That is conservation. Okay. For example, do you remember that famous example of juice that is to do with liquid? Don't remember? Let's say you take some liquid, you pour it in a tall glass, and then you take some liquid and you same amount of liquid and put it in a wider glass. The child will think that the tall glass has more liquid, right? So the child who has not mastered conservation, no, will think like that the taller glass has more juice and the wider glass has less juice. But a child who has mastered conservation will know that it's kind of the same quantity of liquid. It's just that it has taken the shape of the glass. That is conservation. Any questions so far? Are you following? Okay. Then we have classification. Classification is mentally when a child is able to categorize information, no? When they can relate to categories. Like, do you think a child would put fish and bird in the same category mentally? No, right? Will they do that? Will they do that? No, right? So classification is having lots of schemas which a person understands, but then they mentally categorize it. Okay. And then we have seriation. Seriation means to put things in order, to put things in line. That is seriation. Okay. It's like the orderly fashion that one person is able to come to. So Jean Piaget would say that when a child has the ability to order objects based on a dimension, like length, for example, a best example of that is when children are told to stand in line for assembly according to their height. That is one good example of seriation. So they understand that the short one stands in front, the slightly taller one comes after, then the taller one comes after, and the tallest one would stand behind. That is how they understand seriation. Okay. Then we have the fourth stage, which is the formal operational thinking from 11 years of age onwards. So firstly, we have hypo-deductive reasoning. Okay. It's also called hypothetico-deductive reasoning or just deductive reasoning. It all means the same. So it's like, when a person, an adolescent, is able to consider many solutions to a single problem. So it's like, brainstorming, out of the box thinking, coming up with many different probabilities to the same problem, many solutions to the same problem. That is deductive reasoning. Okay. Then there is also abstract thinking. Abstract thinking means having very vivid imagination. So abstract thinking is what? Being able to think in time and space. These are abstract skills. Okay. All this would happen at this stage of development. Clear? Any questions? Could you type in the chat box if you have any questions? Have you understood? Okay, fine. Since you put a thumbs up, let's proceed. Okay. Now, all of these stages need to still be studied elaborately. Please study the hallmarks of each of these stages and the educational implications of each of these stages. Okay. Then the next theory that we have to learn about is Kohlberg's theory of moral development, under which we have pre-conventional level, we have instrumental purpose, once again, these are stages of level 1. We have pre-conventional level, we have conventional level, and we have post-conventional or principal level. Okay. Under pre-conventional level, we have stages, stage 1, stage 2. So we have punishment and obedience orientation and instrumental purpose orientation. Are you able to see the slide? Try to just read it now. Just faintly read the slide, please. You get that? See, you know what happens in this theory according to Kohlberg? The first two levels, first two stages, which are there in pre-conventional level now. The basic parameter here is avoiding punishment and self-interest. Just jot this down in your diary there or in your book. At level 1, stage 2, most basic is avoiding punishment and interest in self. Okay? Understood? At level 2, which is the conventional level, that is the good boy, good girl attitude, right there. Good boy, good girl, nice boy, nice girl attitude. Okay? And law and order morality. So basically, there is understanding of social norms and rules. That is what is law and order morality. And at level 3, which is post-conventional or principal level, here people understand general principles of morality and social contract. So they would understand universal ethics, how we should behave as people, as a human race, what are our social contracts, what are our responsibilities in society. All this will be learnt over here. Okay, that's it. The sentences may look very fancy, but that is all that it is. Okay. Now, there are these concepts of child-centered and progressive education, which I don't want to start today because they may be a little heavy to you, but I want to bring your attention to this image here. Are you able to see? Can you see? These people have to be your favorites. So you have to know these guys. That's why I'm not starting progressive education today. So you need to know these educational theories at the tip of your fingers. Lev Vygotsky, John Piaget, Jean Piaget. Then we have B.F. Skinner, Jerome Bruner, Benjamin Bloom, and Howard Gardner. Okay, you need to know about them. And now what we will do is I will please check your phone, and I am sending you a mock test which you will answer now, right now. Okay, you can take from 10 to 15 minutes to answer this mock test. It is very, very simple, and then we shall compare your marks. Did you receive the mock test? Tell me as soon as you do. Did you?